Mercedes's identity has been forged through dominance, resilience, and leadership under pressure. The upcoming years will test whether that identity can endure without consistent victories. Wolff has emphasized that the culture within Mercedes must remain focused on growth and adaptability. This is not about nostalgia for past triumphs, but about shaping a new chapter. Engineering excellence remains a cornerstone, but so too does the mental strength of the organization. For Wolff, setting Red Bull as the dream rival is symbolic. It forces Mercedes to aim high, refusing to settle for mediocrity. The journey to 2026 is not just a technical project, but a cultural one. It requires re-establishing belief across every layer of the team, from engineers to drivers. By confronting gossip, addressing challenges, and setting lofty goals, Wolff is steering Mercedes toward a future where its identity will be tested and perhaps redefined. Victory, if achieved, will mean more precisely because of the adversity faced. Rivalries are the lifeblood of Formula One. From Senna versus Prost to Hamilton versus Vettel, these clashes define eras and capture global attention. Wolff's vision of Mercedes battling Red Bull in 2026 fits into this legacy. It is not simply about winning races. It is about writing a story that resonates beyond the paddock. The intensity of rivalry pushes teams to innovate, drivers to push boundaries, and fans to invest emotionally. Wolff understands that Mercedes's resurgence will be measured not just in trophies, but in the battles fought along the way. By framing Red Bull as the ideal opponent, he situates Mercedes within a narrative that transcends results. It is about restoring Formula One's competitive drama, ensuring that the sport remains captivating at a time when global attention is more fragmented than ever. In Wolff's mind, the journey toward 2026 is as much about re-establishing rivalries as it is about technical development. Toto Wolff's comments reveal more than just admiration for competition. They underline Mercedes' strategy for navigating one of the most uncertain but potentially transformative periods in Formula One history. By naming Red Bull as his dream rival for 2026, Wolff sets an ambitious benchmark, one that challenges his team to prepare for the highest level of battle. At the same time, his dismissal of gossip reinforces confidence in Mercedes' internal strength and long-term vision. Formula One's new era will not simply reward technical excellence. It will test resilience, and adaptability, and leadership under pressure. For Mercedes, the next chapter is not guaranteed, but it is full of potential. Whether they succeed in reclaiming their place at the top will depend on their ability to meet Wolff's vision. What is clear is that the road to 2026 is not just about rebuilding. It is about proving that Mercedes remains a force destined to define Formula One's greatest rivalry. The Formula One paddock thrives on speculation, rivalry, and the constant search for dominance. As the sport prepares for the sweeping regulatory changes in 2026, Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff has stepped into the spotlight once again. Known for his sharp insights and calculated leadership, Wolff has revealed who he would most like to see as Mercedes's title rival in the new era. At the same time, he has addressed the swirl of gossip surrounding the team's current struggles and its future prospects. His words offer more than just a glimpse of competition. They provide a window into how Mercedes envisions its long-term return to glory. With Red Bull facing internal challenges and other teams rapidly improving, Wolff's perspective carries weight. The next few years will define whether Mercedes can truly reclaim its dominance or settle into a secondary role. Wolff's vision of a dream opponent is as much about sporting respect as it is about ensuring Formula One continues to deliver the fierce battles fans crave. Mercedes' reign between 2014 and 2020 set a benchmark few thought could be surpassed. With Lewis Hamilton leading the charge, the team dominated both championships, building an empire that appeared untouchable. Yet, in Formula One, no dynasty lasts forever. The rise of Red Bull, led by Max Verstappen, has dramatically shifted the balance of power. For Wolff, The challenge is no longer about extending dominance, but about restoring credibility in an increasingly competitive field. He acknowledges that recent seasons have seen Mercedes struggle to adapt to technical rule changes, a contrast to their earlier reputation for precision. The weight of expectation remains heavy, with both fans and critics questioning if the Silver Arrows can truly fight back. This backdrop makes Wolff's revelation about his ideal 2026 rival particularly striking. It is not only a reflection of respect for the sport's competitive spirit, but also a subtle admission that Mercedes is ready to fight from a position of ambition rather than certainty. The 2026 season promises a major reset for Formula One. With new power unit regulations emphasizing sustainable fuels and efficiency, alongside chassis changes to rebalance competition, it represents an opportunity for teams to rewrite their futures. Mercedes, historically strong in periods of regulatory upheaval, sees this as a potential turning point. Wolff has repeatedly stressed that Mercedes is fully invested in the transition, combining technical expertise with long-term planning. However, the challenge will not be easy. Other teams, including Red Bull, Ferrari, and a revitalized McLaren, are preparing aggressively. For Wolff, the dream opponent in 2026 is not about convenience or weakness. It is about competing against the very best at their strongest. He believes that true legacy is forged not by dominating weaker rivals, but by overcoming worthy challengers in their prime. This philosophy underpins his comments and sets the tone for how Mercedes wants to position itself. As a team ready to engage in battles that define eras, not just seasons. When asked about his ideal 2026 title opponent, Toto Wolff made it clear he would welcome a battle with Red Bull at full strength. Despite recent tensions and rumors of instability within the Milton Keynes team, Wolff emphasized that Mercedes' ultimate ambition is to face the best. A showdown with Max Verstappen and Red Bull under the new regulations would symbolize a clash of titans. For Wolff, such a rivalry would elevate not only Mercedes' status, but also the sport itself. By framing Red Bull as the ideal rival, Wolff cleverly acknowledges both respect for their achievements and confidence in Mercedes' future. This perspective also serves as a message to his team. They must prepare to compete at the very highest level, rather than relying on others to falter. It is an ambitious declaration, suggesting that Mercedes is not content with chasing scraps, but is determined to build a car and strategy capable of challenging the current benchmark of Formula One. Alongside his vision of a dream opponent, Wolff also confronted the ongoing gossip about Mercedes' current state. Stories of unrest within the team, uncertainty over driver lineups, and concerns about competitiveness have filled the headlines. Wolff dismissed much of this as external noise, designed to distract or unsettle. He reinforced his belief in the core strength of Mercedes' structure, its engineering talent, and its ability to rebound. Yet, he did not shy away from admitting the obvious. Mercedes is not where it wants to be. The balance of power has shifted, and every misstep becomes magnified. By addressing the gossip directly, Wolff turned attention back to the team's preparation for the future. He positioned Mercedes not as a fractured group, but as a unit determined to rebuild. His words were not simply defensive, they were a challenge to his staff and drivers to rise above speculation and focus on performance. Gossip may shape narratives, but results will silence them. One of the biggest talking points around Mercedes is its driver situation. With Lewis Hamilton's future uncertain and George Russell positioned as the long-term figurehead, speculation has grown about whether Mercedes might consider younger talent, such as Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Wolff has been careful in addressing such rumors, insisting that the team's driver decisions will align with long-term strategy. He knows that stability behind the wheel is crucial during major regulation changes. The balance between experience and youth has always been a delicate one in Formula One. For Mercedes, the goal is not just about filling seats, but about ensuring the drivers embody the resilience, adaptability, and competitive spirit it required for success. While gossip swirls about potential lineups, Wolff frames the discussion within the context of 2026, reinforcing that all decisions will serve the larger objective. By doing so, he emphasizes that the dream rivalry he envisions will require the right drivers as much as the right machinery. For Mercedes to face Red Bull as a true rival in 2026, they must first bridge a significant performance gap. Verstappen's dominance, supported by Red Bull's aerodynamic expertise and strategic cohesion, has created one of the most formidable partnerships in recent history. Wolff acknowledges this reality, framing Red Bull as both the current standard and the target. At the same time, he hints at the natural cycles of Formula One, where dominance eventually fades. The upcoming regulations could be the equalizer that Mercedes needs. By casting Red Bull as the ideal opponent, Wolff places Mercedes in a position of ambition, aiming to confront the very force that has overshadowed them. This narrative not only motivates his team, but also redefines Mercedes' competitive identity. They are no longer the hunters, but the hunted striving to reclaim their place. In this dynamic, the prospect of a Red Bull-Mercedes battle in 2026 represents both a challenge and a revival.